So Onkar, today in your earlier talk, you talked about how our individual rights do not come from God or a higher being, and also how they are kind of born in man's mind. The Declaration of Independence talks about that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. So are the rights really not self-evident? Are they not inalienable? And are they not coming from our Creator, or which could be nature? It could also be a higher being. So I guess my question is kind of tied into Aristotle's A is A maxim. Are rights not, I guess, more self-evident, or are they more coming from man's mind? And also, can we not have our rights come from nature?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of things in that question, and they're not all equivalent. So inalienable, self-evident, what's the source of rights? Those are separable issues. Inalienable, I think its real meaning is morally inalienable, that they cannot be morally divorced. These are conditions required that someone has, social conditions, freedom of action, that someone has to have to pursue what a moral life is. So they cannot be morally alienated. Someone can trespass on them, but they're in the wrong. They're morally wrong what they're doing. That's, I think, a proper concept of inalienable and unalienable. With regard to self-evident, so rights are not self-evident if by that you mean in what it means in epistemology, that they're their own evidence. But just by the fact of asserting them, you can say, oh, that is true. I don't think that's what the Declaration of Independence means. Jefferson's original formulation is, I think it's sacred and indisputable, that then gets made as self. And if you think of that, and if you can allow for that sacred does not necessarily mean religious. So sacred means the highest moral standing. Then viewed politically, I think that is a good way of thinking of rights. These have the highest moral standing and they're indisputable. That is, if you have a proper understanding of morality, every individual has to possess these rights. So that, I think, is a better formulation. It's trying to get that why rights are at the foundation, and it's not because they're self-evident, it's because they have a different kind of status. But they're certainly not self-evident. If you mean by that, you can just assert it and everyone will say, like I can tell you, well, here's a bottle, and everyone says, yeah, there's a bottle. This is its own evidence that you're seeing this. That's not what rights are. And then that, to say they're formulated by human beings. That doesn't mean they're just created by the mind without any reference to facts, to moral knowledge, to what a good life requires. But they have to be formulated. And that's the sense they have a crucial mental, like any principle. A principle is a mental grasp of facts in reality, and you need both. It's a mental grasp of the facts, and that's how individual rights should be seen, rather than as natural.